Hi everyone, my name is Ashley and I'm a first year pharmacy student at the UIC College of Pharmacy. And today I'm going to be talking about how you can use exercise as a lifestyle modification to not only make yourself healthier, but also manage and prevent conditions such as diabetes. So just to start off, I wanted to talk about how important exercise really is when we talk about our health. So if you look at this image here, you can see that regularly doing exercise can actually decrease your risk of overall death by 30%, heart disease by up to 35%, and type 2 diabetes or high blood sugar by up to 40%. And those are just a few examples of some of the health benefits that you can get. But unfortunately, despite this, more than 80% of adults and adolescents aren't getting enough exercise. 1 in 4 adults are not active enough across the country, and not doing enough exercise is actually listed in the top 10 leading risk factors for death. So it's really important that we all become educated on how important exercise can be when we think about taking care of ourselves and our body. So to start off, I actually wanted to define some terms that come up a lot when we talk about exercise, or even if you look up workouts in general, they might come up. So to start off, this is a term that is going to come up a lot in this presentation, but it's aerobic physical activity. And to put it simply, this is basically exercise that makes your heart and your lungs stronger. So it makes it so that your body uses oxygen more efficiently. And during this, your heart rate will go up and your breathing rate will increase for a long period of time. And it can actually be divided into 3 categories: light, moderate, and vigorous. And these terms just describe how intense of an activity you're doing. So with vigorous, your heart rate will probably be the highest and your breathing rate will also probably be the highest, whereas light, it'll definitely be lower. And at the beginning of our workout, we like to have usually what's called a warm-up. And that's going to be a 5 to 10 minute low intensity stretch. And it just helps prepare your body from a mode of like resting, where you're just standing still maybe, to being more ready for exercise. So your heart rate might go up a little bit. And on the flip side, you have what's called a cool down. And that's going to be a 5 to 10 minute low intensity aerobic activity, like maybe lightly jogging in place, and then 5 to 10 minutes of stretching afterwards. And this just kind of helps your body wind down from when it was doing more intense activity and kind of let your body know slowly that you're going back to resting mode. And then aerobic conditioning is a good term to know if you're just starting out with working out, and it's basically just to help people build up to higher fitness goals. So you start out by doing a few minutes of physical activity each day, and then you're gradually making yourself go up to 30 minutes of moderate aerobic activity, so right in the middle there, on most days of the week. And continuing on, resistance training basically consists of exercises that allow your body to improve muscular strength, so your muscles will be becoming stronger, and it also makes your bones stronger, and it can decrease your risk of a fall by helping improve your balance and general coordination. And an example of this might be lifting weights, for example. And then stretching is probably a term that many people are familiar with, but they might not know what it actually helps with in terms of your body. So stretching can also help improve the way your muscles and your bones work. It can also help you balance and coordinate better, and it also reduces your chance of an injury, especially after a more intense workout, which is why it's included in both the warm-up and the cool-down parts of it. So stretching is basically slow, smooth movements for 10 to 30 seconds, and it might be a little bit uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not used to it, but you shouldn't be feeling pain, and if you do, you should definitely stop immediately. And generally, it's recommended that you repeat a stretch 4 times per muscle group, 2 to 3 days of the week. So just to go into a bit more detail with that, when we're talking about muscle groups, basically on the arms, for example, we're talking about what's labeled as the biceps and the triceps here. And then when we're talking about the lower half of the body, we might be looking at your legs, and we might be looking at things like your hamstrings, your calves, or your quads. And basically, just to list an example here, if you look at this woman who is pulling her leg back, that's a stretch that basically stretches out your quads. So it's just helpful to know the names of some of these muscle groups so that if you're looking up a specific stretch to stretch that muscle group, you're able to. The American Heart Association actually has some recommendations for the amount of exercise they want adults to do. So, if you're doing moderate aerobic physical activity, which, if you remember, is that middle category between light and vigorous, they recommend that you get from 150 minutes per week to 300 minutes per week. And if you're doing vigorous aerobic physical activity, which is more intense, they recommend that you get from 75 minutes per week to 150 minutes per week. So generally, it's better to do a mix of both in your workout regimen just to have more health benefits. And just like you want to kind of build up to getting to their minimum amount, which would be 150 minutes or 75 minutes for vigorous, it's also important to make sure that you don't do too much exercise or you could actually end up getting injured and doing more harm to yourself. So this slide is actually summarizing a study, not a study, but a program that was come up by Cambridge University. And it's basically their 48-week program for helping patients who want to lose weight for a medical reason. It might have been recommended by their doctor or just for their own health, they might want to lose weight. And basically the three phases are weight loss, weight stabilization, and weight maintenance. And just to explain each phase a little bit, weight loss is when they switch to a milk-based diet, so they might just be drinking more milk and then taking supplements like mineral supplements or multivitamins that you often see in places like Walgreens or CVS. And if they're taking some kind of medication, the doctor might recommend that they take less of it or they might lower the strength of it. And the second phase is weight stabilization, and that's when previously they were kind of just on supplements and milk, but now they're introducing like solid food, maybe some like vegetables or fruits. And then if the doctor recommends it, they might take more medication for weight loss. And then in the last phase of weight maintenance, usually they're at the weight that they want to be at. And so their regular diet or what they usually eat will be reintroduced again, but they'll still be counseled by a doctor to make sure that their behavioral changes are constant and it seems like they're going to really stick to it. And basically, the purpose of the slide is to show that at the stage of weight maintenance, you basically want to have a healthy diet where you're still eating everything, but maybe you have more balance in there, and you also have a regular fitness routine that helps you maintain this weight that you want to be at that may potentially be healthier for you. So just to say some examples of each, because I know we talked about the definition of both moderate and vigorous aerobic activity, but it's kind of hard to visualize when you don't have specific examples for each. So some examples of moderate aerobic activity would be walking fast, doing water aerobics, biking, playing doubles tennis, doing Pilates, or carrying or moving weight that's under 40 pounds, whereas some examples of vigorous aerobic activity are jogging, running, jumping rope, swimming laps, playing singles tennis, playing basketball, and carrying or moving heavy weight, which would be over 40 pounds. So now that we've actually gone through examples, we have a few video demonstrations for workouts that you can actually do in your home. So hopefully these will be helpful for you and you can actually reference or use them when you're coming up with your own workout routine.
Lay flat on the ground, engage your core, and raise one leg and move it in a circle. And then make sure to repeat this with the other leg as well. For the bridge, make sure to lie flat on the ground, raise your hips, engage your core, and try to squeeze your bottom. For the ab bikes, make sure to bring your opposite elbow to your opposite knee and switch, and keep your core engaged throughout the entire activity.